Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. We are on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, please leave a 5-star review. I got some dates coming up. Next month, June 25th, I'll be hosting an event at the Beacon Theater. That's going to be by Minds. I think it's called the Festival of Ideas. Tim Pool will be there, James O'Keefe, Subi, and a lot of other speakers that we know from the internet world. So I'm very excited to be hosting that event. And then July 16th, I'll be in Buffalo doing a cool show at a cool cigar spot. And then September 8th, Austin, Texas. That's the Cap City Comedy Club. September 14th, I'll be at the Helium out in Philly. And then I'll be in New Orleans September 30th and October 1st, working on more dates. Guys. Let's do a quick shout out from the sponsor for this episode. Guys, we've all seen, cueing that music up. Guys, we've seen so many people making ridiculous money from crypto. But did you know that it's easy for you to do the same? The Copy My Crypto membership site shows you the exact cryptos that YouTuber James McMahon personally holds and allows you to copy him. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't have to know anything about investing or crypto. You just simply do what he does. So a little bit more about James. He runs the Crypto with James YouTube channel, which despite heavy censorship has over 15,000 subscribers and 1 million views. Since March of 2020, he's told his viewers to buy 26 crypto coins. Had you put $100 into each one, it would now be worth over $66K. Of these 26 coins, his top pick of the year, a coin called Phantom, is currently up around 440 times from when he started. That one call alone has retired a number of people, including guys and girls as young as their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is all public knowledge, and you can go to YouTube and verify this for yourself. So if this is sounding interesting to you and you'd like to check it out and join the 1,300 members who copy James, and stop what you're doing and head over to copymycrypto.com/Mayr. That's spelled Mayr. You'll not only find proof of everything I've just said, but my listeners get full access for just $1. You won't find this offer anywhere else, but act quickly because this is a special New Year offer and it will expire soon. That's copymycrypto.com/Mayr. Don't take this offer lightly. He's the real deal. Go visit the site now. Yeah. Check it out. Make your money from crypto. Confuse your parents. Yeah. All right. I'm so excited to have this guy on the podcast today. Always excited to have fellow comedians on. He is a comedian and the host of the American Loser podcast. His latest special, Escape from Jacksonville, is available now on YouTube. KP Burke, welcome and hello.
Hey, how are you? I think I'm just gonna cash it all in and do that copy my crypto thing and just roll with that. I think that's the new move.
I agree. I think trying to make money from this whole stand-up racket is complicated and grueling. And why not just become an obtuse crypto millionaire, and then we don't have to deal with people anymore. Just move to the woods. Yeah. KP, so how long have you been doing stand-up for? Where did you start out? How did you get the illness to start doing stand-up comedy?
Oh, it's a bad one. It's
Uh-oh, did he freeze?
Well, did I freeze?
Are
I
you
don't think
there?
I did. I hope not.
Am I frozen or is he frozen? Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh no. KP, try leaving and coming back. See if that helps.
I'm the worst. I'm sorry.
Okay. I think he just got so excited to answer that he it froze at exactly the right, most hilarious time. Oh yeah. Yeah, guys. I'm back from the road. It feels good. It feels good to be back. I was gone for like 10, 11 days. And I think that's like my outer limit of how long I'm okay being away for. Because I miss my bed. Okay. KP's back.
Sorry about that. I think that was.
Oh, fuck. Is it your connection? I think it's your connection, KP.
I was
He
hoping
was
not.
fine the whole time, the whole pre-chat. He was good.
I'm the
Darn it.
worst.
What could it be?
It's like a Japanese dub movie.
You look dubbed like in a Japanese Asianly dubbed movie. Shoot.
Oof. I'm hoping. Can you hear me at all right now? I'm so
What
sorry
should we
about this.
do?
We hear him.
I don't hear him.
You don't hear him?
No.
What the fuck's going on? I hear both of you perfectly.
Really?
Connection is bad.
Okay. Could it be that my connection is bad?
No, I see you perfectly on a different.
Okay.
So I'm showing full bars here.
Can the chat hear KP?
The chat can hear him.
Oh. So everyone can hear him but me. This is great. Okay, my settings are good.
The most crucial part
hear
of
him
it
at
is being
all.
able to talk to the host. That's
And I don't have any porn windows up. Someone thinks KP has too many porn windows up right now.
I wonder. I know you can't hear me. I actually used to do a bit about
Maybe
another
Frank
one
could be
of
the
your
interpreter, and
You
I
can't hear him?
no, I can't hear him at all.
I'm going to bounce out and come back in.
I hear him fine.
Okay, he left. No, I can't hear him at all. Well, we're having technical difficulties.
Try unplugging your headphones then, like you were doing before.
Unplug my headphones?
Yeah, because you said you could hear fine before, right?
No. Okay, I unplugged him and plugged him back in.
That's not what I suggested.
What do you mean?
You didn't want to have headphones in before, correct?
I just was doing it without them.
Try that.
All right, let me try something else.
I'm sorry, by the way, if that means anything.
Speaker. Okay, talk, KP.
I feel like I'm here.
Ah, you're there. It's okay. So I just couldn't hear you through my headphones, which is why I didn't want to do this with headphones. Okay. Sorry, guys. We're back. We're back. We're back.
Still going on an AOL dial-up though.
It's all right. At least I can hear him. Yes, KP. I want to get into your origin story. I want to get into where you started stand up and how you got bitten with the stand up bug.
It's and again, sorry for the technical things here. It's
It's
but it was a
my
good
fault.
one. One of your commenters in the chat actually cracked me up because that was a bit that I had for a little while when I worked with you. Remember we did the game show? It was the Never Have I Ever thing that you were doing during COVID.
God, yeah. Oh man, that has such a special place in my heart. Like the streams we did over COVID to just try to make things fun and not lose our sanity.
Well, it was very fun, but I remember literally opening up the computer as you guys sent me the invite to join the thing, seeing Jillian Jansen's face and saying, "Oh shit, I did leave a tab open. This is bad."
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
forget.
then it was actually her, so it was cool.
It was yeah. Like, wait, she's got her clothes on. Is this one of her lesser viewed videos?
But yeah, I got into doing the stand. I lied to myself for a long time. I was like, I'm not going to do comedy. Maybe I'll just be like a funny cop or a funny fireman or something. And then, eventually you just realize like, oh, those jobs are extremely dangerous. And I was getting out of the military. I was the funny guy on my ship in the Navy. And then, eventually you got to try it just to know, I think. And I was always jealous of kids who did drama and stuff like that because I was too much of a wimp to try it out. And then the first time I did
Oh.
stand up was in Jacksonville, and I, pretty much, I kind of wanted to bomb, but I had one really good joke. Everything else bombed, but I had one really good joke that kind of made you feel what a laugh could give you in terms of energy. And
Do you remember what it was?
oh, totally. It was let's see here. It was my buddy asked me the other day to tell him about my first kiss, and I said, "Okay, so my uncle's holding me down on a couch."
Fuck, that's awesome. So you were born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, and then so
Jersey,
right after
actually.
Oh, Jersey?
Yeah, I got stationed in Jacksonville. That was
Oh.
yeah, born and raised in North Jersey, maybe like 15, 20 minutes outside of Giant Stadium. And I live down the Jersey Shore now, but for about 6 years, I served my country by living in Jacksonville, Florida.
So you didn't have to go too far. And so when you after you graduated, were you just like, I don't know, did your parents sort of pressure you into the service, or you just thought this is a good move?
I kind of knew I wanted to serve. My grandfather was a decorated combat veteran from World War II, which was cool. And then I kind of wasn't doing much anything either. It was like I was working at, I shit you not, I was working at a place, and I know you're semi-local. Maybe you would know the place. It was pretty famous. It was on Route 46. It was called Fountains of Wayne.
Yes. Where is that? Is that in Jersey?
Yeah, that was in North Jersey. I worked there my first year outside of high school. I worked one summer there too, but the Stacy's mom, that band named themselves after that place, and the
I was
Sopranos
gonna
used to
say,
film there
yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
also there's also a band named Fountains of Wayne. Oh my god, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
But I worked there for a minute, and they were pretty much like they were telling me what my future could be if I stayed with the company, and that was a little depressing for me because I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And then I pretty much stopped going to classes at Bergen Community, and we kind of had to do something to earn mom and dad's love again.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah,
What were you majoring in?
I think at the time it was going to be history because
Mhm.
I always liked history, and I thought that was going to be what I did was be a history teacher. But once you get done with school, the last thing you want to do is more school. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Plus, like, you have to now in this day and age, you have to be like 100% sure that you have no desire to like molest. You know what I mean? Like, if you do, don't be a teacher. You gotta get into a different gig. Yeah.
I truly thought that I was a morally strong person that way, and that I recognize, everything and the decency of it, and how I'm usually disgusted by some of the people that, would take advantage of their position of power over especially younger people, especially minors. Um, and then recently I saw a picture of 17-year-old Paris Hilton, and I had a moment of doubt.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Well,
it was bad.
17. Yeah, it's tough to be a guy, I guess. So how long were you in the Navy for?
6 years in total. I had a break in service for about 9 months when I reported to the reserve side, and then I got
Wow.
reactivated again on the reserve side.
How does it work? Like, when you sign up for the Navy, it's just like you're kind of at their mercy for how long you'll be in?
Yeah, there was a weird contract I signed. It was pretty much you had to do 2 years, and then you could extend and do 4. Um, but they weren't letting you sign up for 4 and only doing 2. So I was like, "Oh, I'll give you guys 2 years of my life for sure, and then if I want to, I'll give you more." And what they didn't tell me was I had to report to the reserve side, and then once you're in the reserve side, they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want with you. So it was cool though. I was on a ship for a little while down in Jacksonville, then I was working in the shipyard after that, and then my reserve unit actually sent me to Dubai, which was pretty cool.
Whoa, how long were you in Dubai for?
Maybe 3.5 to 4 months. It
Okay.
was in 2012.
Were you mostly on the ship and docked, or could you go, like, into the city?
Oh, we were for that part of the that was a different unit. So I was actually land-based security. So we were dressed like we were going to war every day, Kevlar, 9 mils, M4, stuff like that. But we didn't really do anything. We kind of guarded like a when the troops come off, when people are visiting or whatever, there's a certain port there, and there's usually like vendors and stuff set up. So it'll be like a Chicago pizza place or something, and a place to buy knockoff NFL jerseys. And I protected that. I did that for you guys. So
At first, I thought you said, like lamb I'm thinking Abu Dhabi and, like, l I was like, "Oh, is it lamb-based?" I was like, "Ooh, that sounds delicious."
it was weird being over there with because my mom's Armenian. I'm adopted, so I kind of love
Oh.
Middle Eastern food. And so I was over there. I was having the time of my life eating all the best Middle Eastern food and stuff like that. And then all my buddies were all redneck dudes from the South, and they're like, over there they have to call it Texas chicken instead of church's chicken because of the Muslim population.
Wow, because they can't refer to a church at all. Is it like when you, like, would port in Abu Dhabi or whatever, is the effect on the women in Abu Dhabi the same as when, like, the sailors, like, dock in, New York for Fleet Week? Like, are you just getting, like, lots of women throwing themselves at you and just trying to get drunk and get in your pants?
So it's weird. It's at times the total opposite, and at times very similar. Um, so I remember when we pulled in for the Henry Hudson Festival. I was still on the USS Kearney at the time. We pulled into Manhattan, and we got you could not buy a drink in that town if you were wearing your Navy whites. You couldn't buy a drink. We got
Really? They wouldn't accept your money, or would somebody else buy it for you?
kind of both. It was really cool. The
Mhm.
bartenders would buy you one back immediately, and then at some point we just had empty shot glasses lined up in front of us, signifying that more people were buying us drinks on the way out. Um, and we got put like maybe 10 rows back from the third base line at the Yankee game that night. It was I think Jeter tied the all-time Yankees hit record was that night, I believe.
What year was that?
So that one I want to say was 2009 or 10. I'm trying to
Okay,
remember.
wow.
But that was
Man,
that was
that's
a goofy one.
awesome. That's
And
what
then
they
in
should
Dubai, they
say.
hate you.
They do. They hated you.
Depending on who it was, yeah, they would. What we would do, we would lie and say we were Canadian. Actually, if you were out in town in civilian clothes, you just say you were from Canada, and then they left you alone.
Yeah, you're like, "What are you talking about? I'm from Canada, man." You just hope they don't ask you any more questions.
Well,
Yeah, I
the
wonder if,
taxi
like
drivers were aggressive.
how so?
Oh, they just all were desperate to meet. Dude, there was a guy who would just, you'd see some of the regular drivers coming around and stuff like that, and it was, the American women, they like to be fucked, right? Right? By the way, where can I find American woman? Do you know American women?
Ew,
That's really their
what?
perception of it. Yeah.
So they just think that you're just these man whores running around, just tearing up puss all over the world.
I think there was that, and then there was the misconception about that having a healthy idea of your sexuality as a woman in America is somehow an invitation for every Bob's and Vagines DM you've ever received in your life.
Oh, so, like, crazy things like wearing skirt, I guess saying that you enjoy sex is like the doors are open.
Oh yeah, learning to read everything. It's ridiculous.
Learning learning to read, going out to vote. She wants it. Damn, that's so interesting. Did you get any, like, Burka babes or no?
No, I'm. It's such a boring. It's almost a wasted trip in that way because I was with my ex at the time still, and I was decided to be good because she was at home watching the dog and everything. And there were opportunities, and I never took any of them. And then me and her broke up about a year later, and I was like, I missed a couple really good opportunities.
Oh, no, and you're like, "If I could turn back time." I imagine. What percentage do you think of guys in the Navy are cheating on their women?
Oof, oof. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but
Just you don't have to name names, but just from your experience, like, if you could estimate.
there are. I have seen some absolutely debaucherous behavior from both guys I was deployed with, and then also found out about even worse behavior by the wives and girlfriends left behind. So it's some people are able to
Oh.
look past it. I would say it's probably a 60-40 that the 40% are actively cheating, and it's almost forgivable for them, I guess.
Why? Because
Um,
their people back home are also cheating?
yeah, I think there's a couple people we knew that had rules where it was like, if I'm out at sea or if I'm on deployment, you do what you got to do, I do what I got to do, kind of a thing. And
Wow.
a lot of stories of guys coming home too, and then just having like all their furniture gone out of their apartment because the girl just moved back home.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Damn.
you shouldn't marry the person you went to prom with a year after you went to the prom with them. That's just a bad move, I think.
Yeah. That's definitely not a good idea. I remember I asked my prom date, like, embarrassingly early, like, our prom was in June. I asked, like, beginning of February because I was, like, really nervous that this guy was gonna get scooped up, and he was like, "Huh? What? Okay." So, he was from, like, the all-boys school nearby because I had no good prospects, like, in my current public school.
No,
But
you
no,
got to
he's
pull the
def
trigger sometimes.
you gotta, yeah, I had to shoot my shot. Okay, so 40% of people are cheating in the Navy. Okay, what about the stereotype that there's, like, a lot of STDs, or is that kind of just, like, just an old wives' tale?
Um, it's I would say the numbers are um, similar to road comedians, road features numbers
Yeah.
for STD, which I know you've met some dirty, terrible people that'll go do a one nighter in Spokane or something like that. So it's out there.
Yeah, I've been that person. I've done one-nighters. All right, cool. So how did you get the feeling that you were funny? Was it starting to come up, like, while you were in the Navy?
I was the class comedian in high school. I think what it was is that I was going to be, in my mind, I was going to be a tough guy until everybody had a growth spurt except for me. I'm 5'9". I'm broad shoulder, but that's about it. So it was, I think once you lose your first fight, your idea of being a tough guy kind of goes away. And you're like, all right, so I better pivot and find something else I'm good at here. Cause in my mind, I thought I was going to be like a G.I. Joe type dude. I had crew cuts and everything. I loved shooting guns and knew I was going to go into the military. And then you know, you get smacked around a little bit, whether it be in sports or just, some sort of a physical altercation with another dude. And then you're like, all right, let's explore other personality types.
So you're like Captain America. You were like having a Steve Rogers moment.
That's a
But 5'9", I wouldn't consider to be short by any means.
No, I was, I'll tell you what it was. There was, I still think I have that same thing now where it's people aren't looking to mess with me, but there's definitely like if I had to, that guy's going down. Like I'm not a scary dude by any means.
I think you could be scary if you needed to be. I have faith in you.
You're the best.
I remember being funny in high school too, but I was never thinking I gotta pursue stand up. It was more just kind of like making fun of our teachers. Like, I think I remember God, there was one class, like it was environmental systems, and we all would just dick around and distract the teacher away from the lesson, and we would just try to like really waste her time. God, and one time and she would fall for it every time because we would ask her about something we knew that she would rant on and on about and get us like off track. And then I think one time, I mean, I don't know how she didn't fail me for this class, but I came in late with a big cake singing like Happy Earth Day. And then that whole distraction, like getting the cake in, everyone else is singing Happy Earth Day, cutting up and serving the cake. And then before you know it, class was over. She completely derailed the lesson. And she was just like, oh, wow, how creative. You're bringing in a cake for Earth Day. Oh, boy. Yeah, it was fun, though.
That one has layers, so I appreciate the preparation that requires,
Fun. Yeah, I had to go to the store. I brought balloons. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I think no guidance counselor is ever taking the funny kids aside and being like, "Have you ever thought about stand up?" Like, there's really no. I don't know if you got, I don't know, had any decent guidance during like high school or college, but I don't think anybody ever sat me down and like, here are your strengths and here's what you can genuinely do with it for a living.
I made the mistake of wearing a flannel shirt to my first and only meeting with my guidance counselor senior year. And we talked about me going into the trades. And I think it was just, I think she sized me up. She goes, oh, flannel shirt. Okay, this kid should be, let's talk about Votech, Mr. Burke.
Yeah, how are you at lifting refrigerators? How are you at And then okay, so you were funny in school. And then you were funny in the Navy too, or did you feel I imagine it's like you gotta be pretty serious though.
I worked in the engineering department, so that was, which sounds prestigious, but that's just where guys like who can turn a wrench go to hang out. So it was part auto mechanic shop. I did some welding down there. I was like hanging out with like,
Ooh.
yeah, we were. It was a really just a bunch of misfits all together. So there was when you had to be professional, you'd be professional. Otherwise, we were figuring out ways to take our balls out or pull pranks on somebody. Yeah.
Take your balls out? How many different ways can you take your balls out?
So the engineers, we had special coveralls that didn't have a belt on them because we had to be that they had to be fire retardant. So we're wearing like
Okay.
full coveralls, and what you could do is because it zipped up and down. What we used to do is pull our balls out from the bottom of it and then just walk around and see how long it took before somebody noticed. Or how close could you get your balls to someone's if you were standing behind them and they were in a chair, how close could you get your balls to them to get taken in a picture? So
Okay. Were you trying to put your balls on like a bare leg or something like that? Or just if it touched them at all, like even their clothes, it would count?
there was I'll tell you what, you sized up the person you were doing it to and you figured out what you could get away with.
Okay, and these are strangers or friends that you would put your balls on?
Oh, these are people that you're stuck in the same 505 feet for sometimes 90 days at a time out at sea, and then almost every day when you're in port. So it becomes you become too familiar.
Okay. See, like, I don't think girls would ever do this. Like, I never it would never occur to a woman to try to take a lip out and put that against somebody. Like, I just
By the way,
or
that's
like
that's how I need to have more female friends because when you said take a lip out, I was like, oh, Chrissy chews tobacco. That's fucking sweet. That's pretty
no, like
cool.
a puss lip, a labia. We're not trying to, like, labia punk anybody, and we're not trying to, like, "Oh, let me try to, like, nip my friend," or, like, I mean, that'd be something people would find hot. Yeah. I don't know. I guess, like, women's bodies weren't built for comedy the way men's bodies are, but that's fun. Did you feel like being in the Navy, like, overall gives men the feeling like they feel like straightening up and getting their lives together? Like, does it really provide a sense of discipline, or do you think it's just something to do for a number of years when you're not sure what to do with your life?
I think both answers are correct. I hate to do something so diplomatic, but it was I was pretty proud of myself for pulling it off. I definitely showed some stuff to some people in my life that everybody always supported me. Nobody doubted I wasn't going to pull it off, but it was how well I took to the lifestyle because it was great. If I could have stayed in, I probably would have been fine. I think I would have what? I think I'd have like 6 years left to retirement or something if I'd stayed in. So
Oh, so you could be like a lifer. Like, what's the total amount of time then you could retire and then get what? Do you get like a Navy pension or something?
yeah, if you do 20, you can get out with a pension right away. So
That's not bad. It's like being a cop.
yeah, they I think the cops are getting hosed though. I think they're like 25 now. And then a lot of them stick around because then they get a percentage of it. But if you join at 18 or 20, you're now 40, you can start a second career and already have a pension that's taking care of all your bills. So that's why you'll go see like the dudes who like just started their own coffee company or something like that, or a guy that'll go into logistics. So
Yeah. Like Black Chad or like Bullets McGee coffee.
Black Chat is a great name for coffee, by the way.
Black Chad and porn. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Try our nutty blend. Yeah. Okay. When you were in the Navy, did you because I hear about these like USO tours or like these comedians that go on tours and they perform for the military. Did you see any of that while you were in the Navy?
They sent over a couple of UFC fighters and a couple of Octagon girls to say hello.
Octagon girls?
Yeah, that was kind of cool. They
What is an octagon girl? I have to look this up.
oh, that's the girls who go out into the UFC and hold up the signs and the banners for what round it is.
Oh, the sign girls, of course. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, they're cute.
So they brought a couple of them out once, and this one's weird too, by the way. So I did 6 years in total in the military. The first tour on a ship, I never left the United States. I went to Virginia and New York City, both of places I'd been before. You know what I mean? Um, and then when I went into the second unit, then they sent me overseas, like, oh, we're going overseas, and you're going to be part of Operation Enduring Freedom. And I thought perhaps, like my cousin that I joined with, maybe I was going to Afghanistan or something like that. But no, they sent me to very, very safe, very moderate Dubai. And I lived down the street from one of those malls that had the indoor ski slope. And Chrissy, you have not lived until you have seen a man in full Muslim garb come down a indoor ski slope in front of an Auntie Anne's pretzel.
Living the dream. Yeah, I was picturing like a woman in a burqa on a snowboard, just trying to like do a sweet jump.
I don't know if they're allowed to drive those either over there. That I will say this, as
Oh
cool
yeah.
as
I'm like, there's
as
no
cool,
steering wheel. I don't know.
that's true too. I think there's a point though, kind of what you were saying earlier too, is that um, as moderate as Dubai is, there was still some crazy shit going on over there because like especially the people, if you were a Western woman over there, you pretty much had, you could act how you wanted to act over there. You know what I mean? There was no, obviously there's a sense of decorum or whatever, especially if you're in the military. But and a lot of like the European women would come over there and stuff, and they would just be there for shopping. That's kind of like their Vegas a little bit, I guess, with how much
Mm.
money's there. But
Yeah, people do just go there for shopping.
separate subway cars for genders, though.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
That's it might be better for you guys in the long run. That's
Yeah, they should have separate subway cars in New York City because it's just like I'm just seeing too many videos of girls like getting, getting in you know, someone trying to, I guess, pull a Navy joke and put their balls on them, but instead they're like really trying to bang them out, I guess.
It's a little brutal there. Also, I don't know. Would you be offended by this if a man chewed gum in front of you?
No, is that a thing?
Yeah, it is illegal over there. You can't chew gum in front of a woman.
How? Why? Okay, this I have to look up. Why is chewing gum in front of a woman? I'm gonna just say Dubai.
I'm
Woman
guessing it's
fined
like
for chewing gum at a bus stop.
it's probably
So
phallic
women
in nature.
so women can't chew gum?
I don't think so. I don't feel like their rules were so bizarre on some of their things that I was like, maybe they're messing with me. So I was kind of hoping you were going to sit there and be like, oh, that's an urban legend,
What
KP.
the
But no,
fuck?
apparently it's real.
Um, okay, this is like from out of Dubai. I've been using public transport for 6 years. I usually chew gum as a habit. I never thought even chewing gum could attract a fine. It is not allowed on the bus and on the metro, and I didn't know there's an eating ban in the bus shelters, and I'm not sure if chewing gum amounts to eating. Oh my god, they made this woman feel like a criminal. It's humiliating. Oh, wow.
Then there was the whole
Damn.
that because that I saw the girl I was dating at the time had me watch Sex in the City 2 with her. I think that's the one where they go to Dubai, right?
Oh boy, yeah. That's a
And
rite of passage. You have
there
to.
was something to it about what's her name getting arrested, the one blonde lady, because she was hooking up on a beach and public sort of. That they're pretty they're cool, but like when the hand comes down, it's a little Hammurabi's code over there still.
Damn. Damn. Okay, that's cool. All right. So you didn't all right, you didn't hook up with anybody over in Dubai because you were with somebody. Good for you. That's very admirable.
I try. I'm no saint, but I was good then.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then did you have any single time in the Navy at all, or you were booed up?
She sunk her claws into me almost immediately. So, and for the duration.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when was your first open mic and what led up to it?
So the comedy, she actually got it for me as a gift because I think she knew that it was something I wanted to try. So she bought me unknowingly and from a good place. She fell for one of those comedy zone workshop things where
Those
you like,
aren't all bad. They really aren't. I took comedy classes. Like I took one years before I ever started stand up. I did it with my mom just cuz like I mean there's only a number of ways you can start stand up. It's like either completely cold into open mics, which a lot of people feel like I have no fucking clue what I'm doing, or you do some kind of a class or some kind of a workshop bringer thing. Like it's really only one of a few ways. So
was yours taught by at least a comic though?
the first comedy class thing I took was taught by Judy Carter, who wrote a book called The Comedy Bible.
Oh, wow. That's actually pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and she was doing I think she was doing several of these courses, and they just kinda, like, help you free write and craft a joke, and it makes sense, like, if you have no clue where to start, I think those classes can be useful, you know?
There's so many obvious things sometimes that I'll see that someone just was never taught from the beginning, where it's like if somebody takes the mic stand, if they take the mic out of the mic stand and leave the mic stand in front of them and just do nothing with it or whatever, that'll still kind of drive me up a wall where I was like, man, if somebody had just like it told this person just this is how you can look like it's not your first time. Uh,
Mhm.
that was something I found helpful. But there's also dumb stuff too. Like I used to wear it was in Florida too, so there's a low bar. But I did wear flip flops and shorts on stage a lot when I first started out.
Oh gosh, did anyone ever sit you down and go, "We don't need to see your man legs and man feet"?
Yeah, it was one of the guys told me, he goes, you would have he goes, you should not have won the contest tonight. It was like one of the Friday night open mic contests. He goes, you shouldn't have won tonight because we don't allow flip flops on stage. So just don't let it happen again.
Alright, that's nice that they didn't take your crown away just because of what you were wearing.
They had honor in weird places. They were like, I remember being told by the one club owner, he goes, Steve Harvey won't let anyone on stage at his club if they don't have a collared shirt on. And I was like, you let a guy do George Carlin's words you can't say on TV bit word for word the other day. So you got no integrity for the hack thing, but you're like, you will be dressed like a gentleman when you do other people's material, sir.
That's frustrating. Yeah, I remember there was God, what the heck was her name? She is like a known personality in the comedy world. I think she kind of is like a comedy mentor. She's like side. Her name is escaping me, but she like years ago told me she told me to stop wearing dresses and skirts and all that. She's like, you need to wear pants, you need to wear like a jacket with shoulder pads. Like she was describing basically like 80s Ellen. Like that's how I needed to dress to be taken seriously in comedy. I just was like, that's like I appreciate her point of view. I know she's like a veteran, been in it for a while, but I'm just like, I can't bring myself to dress like that. So I just like politely did not listen to that advice. And I don't know. There's an element of that has truth to it. Like you don't want to dress to a point where your body is actually like physically distracting. Like you don't want to, there's a tipping point. Like if you don't want to look hotter than you are funny, because then it's like, oh, then you kind of put yourself in that category. So I think I'm all for being cute on stage, but like, and then there's another thing too. You have to be aware that like when there's couples in the audience, like you don't want, just knowing how women think, like you don't want a woman sitting there going like, is my man like checking her out? You know what I mean? Like you don't want that to even be a thought. You want people to be listening to what you're saying. And which is why I understand why a lot of women just don't dress cute on stage. They just do pants and they look kind of blah. But yeah, you're not trying to take anybody's man. You're not trying to like get checked out. But you still have to express your personality. It's the whole persona on stage, right? So, but yet I do agree with like I definitely agree with the flip flop part. I don't
it
even
was
think
bad.
women should
I
wear
never realized how
flip-flops.
bad I dressed.
Yeah.
I had to find out. You ever learn something because just enough people try to help you with it, and you're just like, oh, is this a thing that I'm apparently just desperately, quietly, unknowingly begging for assistance with? Because I've had multiple headliners I've worked with buy me clothes. And they're like, hey,
really? Oh, that's nice.
It's I think it's just also how bad I dress. That's the other part that's killing me.
Well, now you know. And nobody really like, I think they should sit all guys down and be like, okay, this is how you should dress. It's just I don't know, maybe it's not in your wheelhouse, but it's good. So that you figured it out eventually. Okay, so you did your first. Do you remember how you felt after the first open mic or after the first official show?
It was cool. It was something because I watched 3 people go up before me to straighten nothing. And then one guy I think stuck with it, and the 2 other guys we never saw again. So it was like it was a workshop. So it was kind of like if just to, it's not the best way to phrase it, but it was kind of like watching people wash out of a program, like in the military, where like, oh, that guy's he's quitting. That guy tryouts for a team. You're just watching people not come back to practice the next day because they had a rough experience, and so you start to think, okay, I don't have to be the best. I can just kind of finish the race, kind of a thing. So it was an 8-week course, but hilariously enough, it was taught by the club owner who was not a comic.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, but he would know what's funny. Like, I think a club owner is qualified to teach one of these courses.
Most of the ones I've met, I would agree with you. It was, I have no ill will towards the guy whatsoever. And I actually had a pretty good relationship with him. But again, when his advice was, he could help you notice technical things. Something that was helpful to me was he said, he goes, your material's good, but you took your hands out of your pockets and back into your pockets 8 times during a 10-minute bit. So that was.
Who cares about that? I don't know. I don't think that's a deal breaker. If you're funny, if you're compelling, I'm going to be listening to you, not like looking at your hands.
Yeah, I think his thing was body language was what he was trying to help me out with. And he goes, so what you do is you go up there with a drink in your hand or something. But then that turned into me. I was already drinking before I had to go on stage because I had no previous performing experience really. So it was It was terrifying. So I was usually not drunk, but at least 2-3 beers deep before I went up. And
Yeah.
then someone's like, "Oh, just go up with the beer in your hand," and then that solved my pocket problem thing. But then I was like, then I was just getting hammered all the time at comedy shows.
It's tough because even now I would prefer to have one in me before I get on stage. Like have one fully drank and then go on stage with one and that I like will kind of sip, but most of the time I'll forget about. But it's like it's there just in case.
What's
Uh
the go-to Chrissie Mayr drink for pre-show and during show?
Usually a vodka soda with lime. If I happen to be feeling fancy, like a Cosmo, but like too much of those sugary drinks, like I'll wake up in the middle of the night in like a hot sweat or something because I think I just like I've also been doing keto for a few months, so I think my body is like not used to processing as much sugar. So then when I do have it, it's like, whoa. But yes, vodka soda with lime is the go-to. Also a go-to skinny bitch drink. I think it's just good. It does the job. Nothing too sugary, nothing too crazy, but, like, yeah, there is this one place in Jersey that does make a pretty sweet Cosmo, and then also Cosmo, very bad to bring on stage. It's, like, it's wobbly, it's, like, you're gonna lose half of it just walking up to the stage.
There is a
And
comedic value in you spilling the drink, but not for, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
funny to
true,
see a
and
movie character spilling something when you're gonna invite questions.
oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And, that's such a good point you bring up, like, it really is about just staying with it and being consistent, and, at the time, like, when I first started, I wasn't thinking, like I wasn't even imagining, like, what will it look like 11 years from now still doing this? But that's where I'm at. It's fucking nuts. It's like you really just have to have it in you. You have to like it enough to and you have to, like, kinda not be a quitter. And I think the fact that you were in the Navy maybe helped with that kinda, like, sticking to it. If you have,
Have
like
you seen anybody's life just get phenomenally better though because they quit? Because that's the hardest one for me to swallow.
and that's the thing too is like most people don't announce that they're leaving stand up, but lots of people left, especially over the pandemic. That was the time to do it. That was the time to quietly like see yourself out, like just Irish goodbye to the whole thing. Cause a lot of people, had to like move back to where they were from or like couldn't afford their rent anymore, lost their job. Like that was the perfect time. And that kinda separated the men from the boys, like, if you really are serious about comedy, it's like you found a way to get up over the pandemic, and it's like, I fucking couldn't stand the idea of a Zoom show. I did, like, one, but, people were doing those, people were doing the, shows in parking lots. I know in Queens, they had a couple of those. So, if you were, like, getting the itch, like, "I really need to get on stage," you would find some kind of a way. It wasn't as frequent, but
Do you
yeah, right,
think
because people don't announce, but it's very possible, like, the people that just weren't they didn't like it enough to work hard or they weren't talented enough. That's the thing, it's like most people are either it's like you're either very there's comics who are very talented who don't make it because they have no work ethic and they're lazy. And they have this mentality of like, "Oh, well, if I was funny and good enough, everything would just work out for me." The path would roll out in front of you. It's like, "Right this way to your sitcom." It just doesn't happen like that anymore. It's not the '80s, it's not the '90s. And now, of course, we have this huge social media component to our jobs. And then there's the folks that are like, yeah, maybe they work really fucking hard and they're grinding, but they just don't have the talent, and that's when you see people still, doing open mics and only open mics for like 10 plus years. So maybe
and
those are the people
the
that
ones that
just
are happy there, I think that's the one. I can't tell if I'm jealous of that or scared of it because if I was, you know what I mean? Like I
yeah.
do believe I was told from a young age that it's a sin to encourage a mediocre talent. So at a very,
I just
very
drank a bunch of coffee grinds. Bleh.
Black Chad.
I'm like so committed to this Keurig machine, but because I'm like, I gotta use it till it dies. But then I'm like, it's like the coffee equivalent of pulling pubes out of your of your mouth. You know what I mean? But you're like, ugh, coffee grinds. Blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm about. So yeah, but your shit is so funny, KP. I'm gonna share because you have some clips from your latest special. Is this your first special, Escape from Jacksonville?
Very first one, dream come true.
Congrats, man. This is the dream. and you have so many funny bits on your Instagram here. I'm gonna play this one. I hope I don't get copyright struck. Wait, can you guys hear yet? Okay, let's pull it
Feminist,
back.
she's a strong woman and all that stuff. I
Oh,
just
wait.
put the ring.
I gotta rewind it. Okay, here we go.
But I did bust her chops a little bit, man. When I went to propose, because she's such a feminist, she's a strong woman and all that stuff, I just put the ring inside of a really tight jar. Just watching her struggle. I was like, just ask for help. Everything you ever wanted is right in there.
That's awesome. I fucking love I love making fun of feminists.
But I did bust her chops. I think you know the chick that I did that joke about, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I can't. I used to bust chops a lot because it was. I have nothing against like the majority of feminism. It's that weird extra level Taliban version of it that they have.
Yes, the radical, icky version.
Oh, totally. And it was.
Do I know her? Hold on. Was I friends with her? This is someone you dated?
So I'll tell you what I did for the girlfriend stuff so that nobody can ever say that bits about them is that I've created one giant girlfriend out of everybody.
Yes, that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. But the one girl in particular I was kind of ripping on there a little bit was I do believe you know her. You've definitely crossed paths with her before. I'll say that. And she's not a bad person at all. And she's still doing comedy. I think she's getting better at it too.
You should put her name in the private chat. I won't say it. I'm like
the private chat.
Dying of curiosity. Yeah, click on not where it's everyone can see. The one that if you go down, it's like the fourth icon. It says private chat, and then only I can see that.
It should say private chat here. So I think that's the one we were commenting in earlier.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna play this one, which is also really funny.
I follow my favorite porn star on her Twitter, and I know what she's doing every minute of the day. All right. And I knew I got lost down this porn wormhole too. It was ugly during COVID. It really was. Because I'm sitting there scrolling through it. It's ass selfies. It's her with her top down. Just her, filming a new scene today, whatever. And then again, there's a picture of her just literally shaking her boobs back and forth. The post underneath that, rest in peace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That's how I found out she died. It was on a porn star's Twitter. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. A Supreme Court justice died. I wonder, are they going to pack the court now? Who are they going to replace her with? She was the second woman on it. That's crazy. I mean, as soon as I get out of the shower, I'm going to have to read more about this.
Who is the porn star?
So that one, I do the same thing with them, actually. That it's, I don't ever mention, I'll occasionally say a name.
Who it is, but it's one big porn star.
Well, a couple of my jokes were about, I met Brooklyn Chase at.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who she is.
I met her at an off-site thing. It was for Exotica. They were going to do comedy or something like that. And it was.
Oh, cool.
So I got the phone call and they're like, hey, can you come down here and do this show? And I didn't want to do it at first. And he was mentioning the porn. So when he said Brooklyn Chase, I was like, all right, that's actually somebody worth meeting. You know what I mean? I was familiar with the work. And so I went down and she was a total sweetheart about it. And I did a joke that I had written about her. Like it's actually the closer on the special is about how I went on her social media and her life looks so much better than mine. But if like, I don't want to give away the closing line of it, but it made me feel worse about my choices in life when I was like, man, if I could have just had, if I could have just been doing work like that instead of all the manual labor bullshit I was told builds character, my life would be a little bit different. But
maybe putting things in your butt builds character. I guess it's all relative. Yeah. I think generally, like, a lot of women don't know how good they have it. And like when women, like and I can make fun of feminists because I was a huge feminist in college. And it's like women don't think of how true equality would actually look. It's like, no, that means half of you are going to be garbage men. Half of us are going to be drafted and in these dangerous jobs. And I think women don't think of that when they supposedly dream of equality. It just doesn't exist.
And I want a better life for a lot of the, young women in my life, my nieces and little cousins and stuff like that. And then sometimes you see part of them developing an attitude, and you're like, oh, you're just going to be miserable for the next 8 years until you grow out of this shit, until we grow your hair back and you change the color of it. Oof.
Oh man, and it's just a phase. It's like a phase a lot of girls have to go through. I did the same thing. I had very like short haircut in college, but part of that was mostly because I was a springboard diver at Division 1, and like all the girls have very short hair, and like I cut it because I was like doing a flip, whatever, and I felt my ponytail hitting the diving board, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel like my head being literally like this close to the board. So like, and everyone else does it. So you're like, all right, I'm just gonna look like a lesbian for 4 years. So
Well,
yeah,
question:
short.
How short of a short haircut? Because it was.
All right, picture a Midwestern hairstylist. So I had like bangs. I had like a long bang, but like cropped up the back and blonde, like bleach blonde.
The imagery of that is perfect. By like you pulled a couple words together and drew me a picture. All right.
And let's throw this into the mix. Adult braces as well. Yeah. And like this is the whole grift of orthodontists. They're like, oh, don't get the metal ones because you're like a young adult. You're out there. Get the ceramic ones. Oh, the ceramic ones. Oh, that's not even gonna look like you have braces at all. They're gonna be tooth colored. What they don't tell you is the second a cup of coffee hits your lips, your braces are now brown for 4 years. You know what I mean? Like you're just unless you're like on point and the flossing is such a bitch, like it'll take you an hour. Like you have to cancel plans because you have to floss. So I had braces for many years.
That's a
As an
tough. That
adult.
might be. I'm trying to think where I would be on that if I met it if she had, because I was trying to think of what's the. I'm 34 now, even though I look way worse. But I was trying to think of what would be the youngest age I could date without feeling like I was being gross.
You're a man, so you can get away with
Oh, the leeway's
I
in our favor for sure.
yeah, I think it also depends how old you are. I think like comfortably you could date someone 15 years younger than you.
Well, shit. The
Yeah. Well, how old are you now?
34.
I think okay, so I think once you hit like over 35, then yeah. Yeah, I think you could definitely comfortably date somebody 10 years younger than you right now. But
I would say
probably
that they
younger
have
if
to be
they had their shit
21.
together.
Yeah, they'd have to be over the like. I can't figure out if they're going to get carded at a place that we're going to, which.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's a weird one. I've been trying to figure that one out too.
They
But I
have
wonder
to
where I
like
draw the line.
seem old enough that strangers won't go up to them and be like, "Are you lost? Do you need help finding your mom?" It's a thin line. It's a thin line. Yeah, I'm so excited for this special that you have, and it's with the laugh button.
Yeah, Laugh Button. That's the comedy arm of 800-pound gorilla. So
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. That's very cool. Do
they've
you
been awesome to work with too.
Okay. Okay, that's awesome. I don't know if you heard recently. So this past weekend, Rich and I just did a video about this earlier. Rich Voss was in a club in Winnipeg in Canada, and basically there were some women there that were like drunk and disorderly and heckling him, and he basically was like yelling, and then now he gets called a racist, and these women are like now trying to cancel him. And I want to know your take on this, and has anything like this ever happened to you?
Voss has said meaner things to me in a just like a 2-second phone call than the things that he got in trouble. He's
Right,
walked
right.
past me
He said,
before.
"Listen, lady, I'm not your sponsor. You need to go to your next AA meeting." And again, it's like this is about them being drunk and heckling, not necessarily that he's like nailed down their ethnicity. And I think at one point maybe he said like, "Go back to your TP," which to me is like, come on, that's not like he went in there with a planned joke. It's like I think you kind of can't be held responsible for something you're saying in defense of your own set. If you're being heckled, like, yeah, you're now improvising. So,
That's a good point too. And I remember reading the article, and this was my moronic thing. It's the same article that you guys have up right now. It was an OBGYN woman or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I was calling her, Quidgy because I was
LGBTQ.
like, yeah, LGBOGBWA.
Oh my God. Yeah, that one's a weird one too, because um, that is a group of people that people definitely have some sensitivities towards. And I think if that happened in the United States, that's not an issue at all because it's Canada and they're just, they have hyper empathy. And it's so weird too, because maybe this is your shared experience as well, but it's every Canadian I know that lives in America, they love it here so much more. And they're like, oh, like everybody thinks Canada's great. There's a lot of shit going on you guys don't know about.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know if it's like empathy, but it's like these women willingly paid and went to a comedy show, then they got drunk and then they heckled. Oh, but it's Voss's fault if he responds back and fires back. In fact, he even told a security guard that in the event of any hecklers, he wanted to be the one to talk with them because normally a security guard would just like boot them. So it's like these women could have been asked to leave immediately, but instead Voss was like, no, he was like willing to talk it out with them. And then so they're heckling. And then as they walked out, then he's kind of, you got to defend yourself, man. I don't know. Have you ever walked anybody that you can remember?
So it's yes, and then the one thing that I think is always great too is when people's narcissism comes through and they decide that they get to tell what you meant by the joke. Um, I had a joke about COVID on the special that I'm reading the comments, and it's so funny because I got crazy right wingers that are telling me like, "Oh, this clown should be on CNN, the comedy news network," right? And then other people are just sitting there and like, I guess all you Trumpers just think it's okay to make fun of COVID, even though millions of people died." And I was like, you guys are arguing with somebody that you're mad at, and you rehearse this argument in your head in the shower every couple of days, and then you decided for one moment, all right, well, it's not the exact guy, but I'm going to vent this out anyway because I spent too much time on these thoughts. So,
That's a really good point. Yeah, they're having a conversation with themselves.
oh, I didn't need to do any. That's why I debate whether or not to talk back to these people and hecklers too. I actually think it's a mutual friend of ours. The worst heckler I ever had was I actually a heckler I can deal with. People talking during the show and showing no respect for the idea that you're trying to do
Ugh.
stand up, that will actually get me enraged. And I have I remember shutting down a heckler in Atlantic City. It was just outside of Atlantic City, one of like the boony towns, if you will. And it was a big fundraiser at a firefighter. Geez, it was for a firefighting foundation. It was at their firehouse.
I
And
love firehouse shows.
they can be very, very. These guys were just hammered drunk, and we started a half hour
Mhm.
later than they were supposed to.
Oh my
And I
God.
remember I walked up on stage, and the guy just goes, "Show us your tits."
Oh
Right,
God.
the first thing, and I think I just snapped and I screamed, "I will bend you over this table and butt fuck you to death while your friends watch and jerk off."
Yay.
And then the entire room was like, they loved it. People and like, oh my God, it was people were taking pictures with me afterwards. And then the booker goes, yeah, I got one woman that complained because she said you kind of ruined the show with that. it's
Wow.
it was a callback from all the other comics the rest of the night too. Everybody that went up after me was saying the exact, that they were doing jokes on, I'm not going to fuck you like KP was gonna or whatever. But it saved the night. And it seems like I've worked with Voss enough. I think you have too, that sometimes if he's having a good set, and he's really a great comic,
He
um,
is.
but if you can set him up where he can tear something apart in the room, I've seen him do 20 more minutes because he found out a guy had a pontoon boat once.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Those kind of bits like really inspire me where it just goes into like on such a tangent. And I think I notice it's a lot of women that get offended and talk to a fucking reporter and demand someone's cancellation. And I think it's a lot of these women who like they have too much self-confidence, but I think a big part of it is like either they don't have brothers or guy friends or they don't know any comedians, but people don't realize like this is kind of the male way that guys bond is by making fun of each other. And even if you're like a girl comic, like you understand like you kind of operate that way too. And also like growing up in my house, we all made fun of each other. And it's like if you just have no friends or no dudes in your life and then you go to a comedy show, you're gonna you're gonna be just totally unprepared for how people relate on this level, and you're gonna take it personally and be offended and complain when really it's like, no, you're the one who doesn't get it, actually.
Did you ever hear? There's a Stanhope line that he had. Doug Stanhope usually has the best lines, but I think he said, "The start of my show is like I'm leading you into battle. You're not all going to be here at the end."
It's really good. Man, Stanhope is like also one of the best. He's such a chill guy. He's so fun. And for how kind of famous he is, I really appreciate, like, I opened for him once, but I just got the sense right away, like, so friendly, so familiar. He was like invited, like, me and my boyfriend up to his suite to hang out, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here with your boyfriend. Like, I didn't, want to give you the sense that I was like this, creep that you were opening for." And he was just cool right away, very open. And then we hung out and like got food afterwards and drank and like just so down to earth. And like I would understand if he was more arrogant for how famous he is, but he's not at all. He was like one of the best I've worked with. So
I think it's like that. They come from that world where, and this is new from what I understand. This is relatively new, of like within the last generation or so of comedians, where you're not all on each other's side. Like it should be. I think Stanhope's idea and attitude has always been that it's us versus the audience. So like you always defend another comic kind of a thing.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
you saw that a lot with like the tough crowd guys and stuff. And then you start to see this drove me nuts when it was like anytime like there's going to be somebody, I'm going to have to unfollow somebody because I consider Rich Voss a friend of mine, and he will destroy me. You know, he's I can't how many times I've been told, tell that big-headed middle to shut up, headliners talking, but it's I admire the guy, and he's always been very, very kind to me. And some idiot, some open mic person that doesn't know me, that added me because they had a picture of them holding a microphone in a profile picture on Facebook, is going to come out with some hard take about how trashing the Native American people is just garbage. That's punching down. Voss is trash. He was never funny anyway. And someone's going to say that, and then I can't support you then. I can't take you seriously because you're already betraying the thing for some weird social points from people that don't matter.
Yeah, that's dumb. That is and if somebody keeps acting like that, like they're not going to have very many friends in comedy, and people aren't going to trust them. People aren't going to want to work with them because you see them going like, fuck comedians, fuck this code, fuck this whole free speech team that we're supposed to be on together. It's like, no, I'm going to pander to the left, or I'm going to pander to this particular victim group that's in the spotlight right now just because they think it'll get them more followers or more. But that all that is very fleeting.
It's new. Apparently, it wasn't around like maybe 10 years ago. I think social media gave everybody an opportunity. I found out today. I didn't know if you knew this, Chrissie. Did you know that Ricky Gervais is trash and he was never funny in the first place?
That's news to me. I think
Yeah.
it's because he just put out a special that people can feel victimized by.
They turn on a dime. It's pretty wild. So the old school way is kind of what I appreciated about it. So it's more fun when, by the way, and you're the kind of a person too, where you'd be fun to hang out with it, like, on the back of a bus or something like that, where you get the dirty
Oh
jokes
yeah,
are being thrown around.
I'm at my best on the back of a bus. Yeah.
But you know who can hang and who can't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, ugh. Yeah, like you're gonna pander to the audience. I don't know. No, it's like the comedian is in charge. Like you tell the audience to go fuck themselves, especially the hecklers. And just I say this all the time, like heckling is the most selfish, self-centered thing you can do, as is canceling. It's like you are making this all about you, and you're not enjoying this show, this comic. It's like, well, guess what? Most everybody else in here is. So just see yourself out.
Do you want to read her play-by-play of the night? Because they always leave stuff out to make themselves sound better.
Oh, you
It's
mean the let's see.
Well, because I know she actually wrote some stuff too, but like a favorite thing of mine, whenever I'm on the road or something, is to read the bad reviews of the club I'm at. And
Oh, were you talking about the article?
the article has some stuff in there too, but it's one of my favorite things though to read any other club's like bad reviews, because inevitably the person always explains why it's their fault.
Oh
And
my God. Okay, so this is like what the Winnipeg. Oh, it's Rumors. Yeah, Rumors Club. And
I
then
also love
you
that Voss is able to still get that reaction out of people.
reviews on TripAdvisor. Oh, wow. This is not even something I've ever thought of doing. What a great idea. Okay, let's read the reviews for TripAdvisor. Okay, I want to read something bad. All right, let's read poor and terrible. Okay. Awful. Awful service. Bought tickets days in advance online to only be told there weren't 2 seats available when we got there. We already paid and we were early. Staff were non-accommodating, not remorseful. Very disappointed from out of town and definitely will not make the effort to come into this town again for this. Brutal. Brutal. Oh, this is just shouting at the hostess. Alyssa, hostess, rude, not helpful, not friendly. Exact opposite of what a hostess should be. Wow, this is shout out to Alyssa. The place was half empty, but they crowded everyone in like sardines. That's what comedy clubs do, is crowd everyone in like sardines into long and narrow seating because you have to sit near the front. They're not going to have you be just spread out. Asked to be moved. Hostess stated people just come in before the show, which is true. I said we could wait, but please move us. Never came back. Place never filled up. Everyone facing away from the stage was so crowded they couldn't even slant the chairs. Come on, this is basically the norm here. Keep hoping management will improve service. And this is pre-pandemic. This is 2018. So a lot of these are old, which is kind of a good sign. Usher at the door, quote, don't you see the sign? It's in front of your damn face. I have been to this place a few times and really enjoy myself. Not this time. Usher at the door was the rudest little person I have come across in a long time. Damn, that's a short joke. That's like a nod to their height, I think. Shortest little, rudest little person.
There was a great one that I saw of a club that you and I have worked that's, let's say, near the Jersey Shore. Um,
Okay.
and it's not anything incriminating.
Is
It's not
it
anything
one that maybe doesn't serve alcohol?
correct, which is why it's so
Okay.
fun.
Okay.
There was somebody went home and wrote a Yelp review. So I was there with a friend of mine and his girlfriend had a little bit too much to drink before we came to the show and kept falling asleep at the table. And then we were rudely asked to leave after we kept heckling and she was wandering around looking for the bathroom. It's not her fault that the bathroom's so hard to find over there.
It's not hard to find. Oh my God. Wow.
I was there that night too, and that bitch almost wound up in the kitchen. So it was pretty great.
Mhm.
But those people will sit there like, and I'm a local too, so I hope I hope he knows that I'm never coming back.
Yeah,
You brought
the
you got a
threat.
drunk lady at your table, man, and she's passing out to the point where you don't know if it's going to lead to alcohol poisoning, if she's in some sort of compromised position. Also, it's a girl passed out with 2 guys. We don't know who these 2 guys are, what they're doing. So it got handled, and then somehow these guys made themselves the victims and the heroes. And then we got her back home safely, but we're never
Oh,
coming back to.
wow. Good for you guys. Steve O'Cal really wants me to tell you that KP looks just like my best friend. So
That's
now you.
do I ask what gender? I had to grow the beard out because I was tired of getting congratulated on winning Jeopardy so often.
Yeah, we got her back home safely without being charged with any crimes. We could have put it in, but we didn't. Yeah, 'cause
Heroes.
we're upstanding gentlemen. Yeah, it's fun. You got to really the people who ended up hanging in this 10 plus years. It's like, yeah, it's because you love it. It's like it's hard to pursue comedy, but it's also hard to not pursue it if that's what's in your heart and that's what you love. So congrats on the special. People can watch it on YouTube. It's on the Laugh Button YouTube channel. And yeah, just type in KP Burke, Escape from Jacksonville. Check it out, guys. Super funny stuff. KP, it was so great to have you on. It was so
It
great
was
to
great
learn.
talking to you guys. That's and
Yeah,
I mean, and by the way, you're one of the good people too, because every time we've done a couple weird gigs together, like Hoboken and stuff, we both kind of cut our teeth at the roast masters, and it's
oh
just
yeah. I
cool
love
to
a
see you
weird
do
gig.
things, and I always appreciate that how good you guys have always been to me. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you too. I'm so excited for you. This is a big deal. Big congrats. Everybody check it out. KP, where can people follow you and find you online?
I regretfully got back on Twitter, so I'm at KP Burke Sucks on Twitter.
Let's
It's
get these follows up. Get this. You have a little bit of a sad Twitter situation. We need to get everybody following KP.
Oh, it's super sad. That's Instagram's where I'm having the most fun. We're posting the reels that Chrissie was nice enough to play on there. So that's also at KP Burke Sucks. And I still like Facebook because I can understand it and talk to you and figure out if you're a real person or not. And that's just KP Burke over on Facebook. But the special is called Escape from Jacksonville. We filmed it down at Kevin Smith's place where they just filmed Clerks 3. And we're very proud of it. And a lot of people worked really hard on it. And it just getting to promote it right now by myself feels a little selfish. But you know what? I did write all that shit. So I'm going to take it.
Yeah, do it up. Promote. You gotta just promote away. Don't feel bad at all. I am putting your links in the chat right now, but I will also put them in the description of this video. Everybody follow KP right this moment. Thank you so much for coming on. You're so funny. I'm such a big fan. And
Feelings mutual.
Oh, we'll keep in touch. Thank you, chat, for all your comments and simping. I see you in the chat. And yeah, I wish we could reach out to Alyssa, the poor rude hostess, but I'm sure she'll be okay. All right, guys. Until next time. Bye.